recent edition of Blue Ridge Outdoors.
I did not.
The
Yeah, I
Seth
did.
River is listed as the best fishing spot in the Appalachians.
Yeah, isn't that cool? South River.
For trout.
For trout, it was
Well, just
for
in
trout.
general, but they
Yeah.
are definitely pushing the trout fishing.
And that's really cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Len.
Hey, Lad.
Hey, Len.
Happy New Year.
Same.
Happy New Year. I was fully expecting Tom. He gave me some input. Jennifer and I some input on the agenda. Friday, I think it was, something like that, or Thursday. So I guess we should give him a minute here. Maybe to make proper use of our time while we wait for Tom, would any of you from the committee like to make any comments on the minutes, which Jennifer forwarded?
Admittedly, I'm just now reading them. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I've never heard anyone do that before.
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right, so no edits for Jennifer then. Mark, since you're board chair, how would you like to proceed? I got 103. You want to wait till 105 for Tom? And if he doesn't, I can walk through the agenda. Obviously, not a board member, but I can at least walk through the details for the committee.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's give him another minute or so.
Sure.
Not very often that misses this.
No, and I checked email just to see if I got a last second message, and let me check my texts. I don't remember anything from him. Yeah, he texted me right before New Year's, but nothing to do with the meeting. It's totally possible he kind of got on rhythm and was planning on this meeting on Tuesday.
That could be.
Yeah. We'll have to give everyone a mulligan for that for a while because we were doing the Tuesday at 1 o'clock for so long.
Yeah, you think you forgot?
Yeah, who knows on a Monday and I don't know what he's doing about driving. I'm sure he's not driving the school bus yet, so he's been off rhythm for a couple of weeks.
They cancel school around here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Everybody's closed.
Yeah, our
Is
students.
JMU back in session now? Carol, is JMU back in session?
Oh, no, we don't start back until Tuesday, the 21st, I
Oh,
think.
my.
The university's,
Long break.
yeah, the university offices are open. They opened on Thursday, but we don't have classes until the 21st.
Nice long winter break.
Well, just
For
because
some
classes,
people.
yeah, just because classes don't start until the
No,
21st.
I'm just talking about the students.
Yeah, there's
Not
plenty
you.
going on. There's a lot going on. Good stuff, but yeah, it's Harrisonburg is very quiet.
All right, well,
Let's go ahead, Joe.
yeah, I'll go ahead and walk through things. So I will leave it up to the committee members. Jennifer is being scribed, so she will record anyone making a motion to approve the minutes for December 2020. It should say December 2024 on your agenda, not 25.
So moved.
Second.
Jennifer, we have Faye and Mark. You would all like to cast your vote, please?
Yes.
I'm in favor.
Okay. Jennifer, the minutes for December pass unanimously. If we move to detail design, I will start off. I'm going to share a screen. Let's see if I can find the one here. Go. Okay. Everyone have my screen okay?
Yes.
Yep. All right. So what we see here, that this is a couple of weeks old. There hasn't really been a lot of movement through the Christmas break. Just right before this meeting, got another email from Glave Home, so I will look at that. But I think it's just basically a general schedule. And I know Jonathan communicated with Steven. So after I run through these slides, I'm going to have Jonathan talk about the rough agenda coming up for the upcoming months. What this shows here, this is near the front of the building, showing the exterior paneling that the architects have chosen. I think we talked about this a month ago or so. Obviously, it's a little bit different from an operational standpoint. I think staff all feel unanimously, good about this. That having something like this, which is maybe not quite as dramatic and colorful as the past design, is actually going to be something that'll make maintenance and upkeep a little easier project. So they're recommending this kind of gray metallic or silver metallic outer look to it. Unfortunately, I don't have the
Joe,
full. Yes.
quick question, just to be clear in my mind, you're illustrating the color of the panels, not necessarily the design of the building, correct?
This is a close-up. So yeah, I don't.
Is
Jennifer,
that the new, is that a new design of the building?
no,
Yeah.
no. This is like around the corner from the lobby. If you look to the lower right, what you see, if I'm not mistaken, that's part of the lobby, and you're kind of going around the corner. So I think you're standing at the corner of Arch and Main right here. So you're not looking at what looks out towards the South River Preserve.
Huh.
I will ask Jennifer if you wouldn't happen to have handy the screenshots that you took during the walkthrough.
Go ahead and proceed and I'll look for them.
Sure. Let me walk through these slides and maybe Jennifer will have a few more of the outside of the building. But what you can see here is that the shape of the building is generally the same, except we have a round, squared off corners rather than round DEB shot down, the rounded design, basically as a cost concern. But we see the layout and the layout of all the internal portions of the building are all pretty well the same, and the orientation of the building that you can see here is the same. So this shows some of the, I guess we call them elevation drawings. So this middle one, the middle drawing shows the front doors to the left, which looks straight down to the South River. Up top, that is what we see from Main Street, looking north towards the building. And what we see at the bottom is the view on Arch Street. So what that does is it illustrates a lot of opportunity for us to have some external interpretation that would be free to the public, but it would be one of the 6 public experiences that we would offer up at this new facility. So,
I guess,
yes.
I'm sorry, but just to clarify again.
Yeah.
So we lost some of the smooth lines.
Yep.
There's still that patio up top or whatever that.
Yeah, there's
terrace.
exterior terrace here at the left side of the building on the, I guess you call it the second floor.
Yeah.
And then the kind of angled portions left of center, those are the areas where we install the mechanicals.
Yeah.
So that would be your heating and cooling and other necessary items. But the good thing about that is we use the roof space for that rather than use part of the acreage for that.
So what's the cost differential? I mean, this must have been a significant cost savings doing this, or?
I don't know the numbers offhand. Jonathan, did you happen to see a spreadsheet that talked about what the specific breakdown was in terms of cost savings?
I think we can say this is more or less getting us in line with what DEB proposed the cost, the value engineering to land at. So
right.
This is getting us to that 35 million, 32 million range.
Okay.
Which is down from 41.
Okay. So 6 million basically. Plus an improved maintenance cost, right? I mean, a significant improvement in maintenance costs, like 20% or?
What do you mean maintenance costs, Len?
Well, you mentioned that this design, addresses
Oh,
issues.
right.
Yeah,
Well, we don't have a cost for that yet. I'm just talking from a practical standpoint. The more complex your building is, the more you invest in taking care of it. And then all the stainless steel reflective paneling, at the Prairie Fire Museum, that does require periodic maintenance that you won't have with this kind of paneling system. It gets dingy. It just builds up grime and so forth.
yeah, okay.
So this will as well. You basically power wash the outside of any building. We spend some time here at Starling Avenue doing that.
Okay, well, I understand. I have to say, it's a little disappointing, but I see the practicality of it, and the building is still attractive. It's just not that wow kind of,
I know
appeal.
what you're saying, but it always bothered me. And a lot of people in town commented on this. Not everyone. There were a lot of people who felt the same way you did, Len. But
Yeah.
they were afraid that it was going to kind of stick out from the rest of the downtown.
You mean the dismal downtown buildings that we have? Hey, I can say that. I'm from here and I had a building down. I had one of them, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
still.
That's the tough thing about these architectural plans, is that the architects go wild. They
Yeah.
never seem in these projects to build up to what the states or any entity says the budget is. They'll go over, and the tactic there is to get you excited about a particular design, and you can't let go of it. So you increase your budget or something like
Right.
that. So yeah, I guess I can say I know this is public, but I don't think I'm saying anything the architects don't know that I know already.
Yeah.
So there really isn't any update on the internal design. We still have substantive exhibit hall. More exhibits in this design are bleeding into the lobby, which I think is a good thing. To the top, just left of center of this diagram, we have the viewable lab that will have windows that can also be opened, which is something that the labs here at Starling Avenue lack. Everything to the upper left and the upper right is all staff support. Go to the second floor. Top center is your children's area, which has been retained. We have there's 2 classrooms with subdividing walls, an extended exhibit area over here, which is cool because when we don't have classes going on, these walls can be open and we can have 2-dimensional exhibits or other features associated with these spaces that will support the public programming, but of course can be closed off for school programming. If we go to the far left, that is our changing gallery. And then the lower left, this is the outdoor terrace, the kind of event center and so forth. So that's all in there. These areas here with the X's in them or the lines going through them, those are open to the first floor. So that provides some continuity for the visit, according to the architects. Also, probably just like our bridge over here, where you get to look out into the Hall of Ancient Life, provides some spectacular views of the exhibits. They also brought on board for this last meeting some preliminary images of what the internal features could look like. So in the next iteration, they're going to show some options. So these are some of the things that inspired them. Sound baffling equipment that can be either very standard, like you see in the lower left-hand corner, or could even be turned into a work of art like this mobile at a children's museum in the lower right. They also just presented us, the idea that we don't have the key for this, but basically these different color hatchings or line hatchings, I should say, show where they put in different products based upon the size of the area and what the objective of putting some of the sound dampening features in are. So same thing here. Second floor reflected ceiling plan. Oh, yeah, that's where you have the baffle. So what they're showing here is preliminary proposal to use the product in the upper right. This can actually be custom made. So even if we wanted, we could make it like a relief map of Afton Mountain, but stuck up on the ceiling,
That'd be cool.
So Yeah. And Jennifer, please jump in if you remember some details about this briefing that I'm missing. They also talked about different floors. Staff really pushed hard. We know how much of the budget here at Starling Avenue went to the floors. I know every time Ryan thinks about that, he starts to shake a little bit. So, Ryan, what are these things called again?
The floor at Starling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that terrazzo floor. It's
Yeah.
if not the most expensive, one of the most expensive flooring types. Um, Not really necessary, but that was a choice that was made.
So, we're leaning more towards, especially in today's era, you can do so much with polished concrete floors. And, you can use various stains and so forth, either create patterns like in the bottom or at the top. If I'm not mistaken, and Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, this was a museum that in part interpreted a river. And so they basically made a design on the floor that corresponded to the watershed. Jennifer, is that what meets your memory bank?
I think that is correct.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, they'll probably start to give us some ideas. This can also vary from gallery to gallery. So each the power of this is each gallery can have its own design on the floor, which
Or
I think,
motif.
yeah,
So the motif could, potentially be like big levels versus South River kind of thing.
that's right. Yeah,
I think
all of
that's
that.
that's exciting, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it makes the exhibit experience a little more immersive, as
Mhm.
opposed to walking on the carpet squares or tiled floor or something like that. Right. So these are
Joe,
all
at
just,
the Hotel Madison here in Harrisonburg, the main large meeting room, the the carpeting tiles are the South Fork of the Shenandoah River.
Yeah,
oh,
that's
nice.
awesome.
They just get them custom printed.
Yeah.
All right. Neat. Well, think about it because that's the kind of input that they'll be looking for what we specifically put down in different areas. There's not really much to say here. They talked a bit about the retail space, about different products that are available. We didn't really have a lot to say about this. We'd like our store manager to sit in with these folks and talk about some of the needs and pros and cons. They showed some other areas to kind of create space divisions, and also could even provide a certain low-level sense of security for items, say during a reception where the store might not be open or the box office might not be open, but there'll be people in the building. And that was basically the image that they gave it. Jennifer, do you have any more images? The ones that showed kind of the
Image that I have is an image of the outside, that the white renderings that they did, that's just solid white.
okay,
And that might be helpful. So if you want me to share my screen,
please.
okay, see if I can figure out how to do that again.
Yeah, you should have a green button at the bottom of your screen.
There you go. You guys have that now?
There it is.
Perfect.
They just talked about how this was white, of course, and it's just a digital drawing, but it kind of gives us a little flavor for I like the area to the left here, and then the walkway up and into the building. So
Yeah, it illustrates the removal of the rounded borders and so forth. So,
but it still looks nice, I think.
yeah, yeah. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Jonathan, do you want to give a quick overview of what your communication with Stephen generated?
Yeah, sure thing. So going into the end of the year or the beginning of the new calendar year, end of this fiscal year, things are going to start moving pretty quick for us. So coming up next week, we're going to do just a touch base, covering some details, lower level details. I think it's where do they want the desks? How many lab spaces do we need to be working with? How to, where are we going to stage people as they're greeted coming through the front doors? That kind of thing. And then they're going to move on to early January, February. February, we'll get some more detailed drawings coming through. So that'll be HVAC, sinks and faucets and all the guts of the building kind of coming through there. So early February, we should meet with Glavian Homes to hopefully propose to go through the first round of cost review for the project. That's exciting because we can get that done and over with so that we can get it to DEB. Now, that'll be end of February, early March. And then they're proposing from that point forward, you guys have been on the ride long enough to know we're looking at 2, maybe 3 months to review. So we can hopefully get this done by the end of this fiscal year. So we get the approval and then the final cost review and DEB's approval to move forward by the end of this fiscal year. I think, we're keeping our fingers crossed and holding our breath, of course, for a June finish. But that being said, it does not derail things for that to slip into July and August. So we'll start with the preliminary working with the budget analyst, probably April, May this year, and then it'll kind of finish up. That whole process will finish up July, August. So that's the next fiscal year. So he gave us a lot of good information today. I know they're excited. They're waiting on some drawings to come back from their consultants on the project. So that's that HVAC, electrical, MEP guys to give us some more details there, kind of the boring bits. Joe mentioned earlier the exhibit team's at work, so we should have 25% of that knocked out for this section. So we'll know where the plugins go essentially, moving into the budget process. So that's good. I think just as far as the drawings go, maybe we can twist somebody's arm at Glavian Homes and have the walkthrough for the next WAC meeting.
Yeah, I'm sure we can do that.
Yeah.
I know that there's a issue with they did create, excuse me, an animation, but they didn't share it with us because the files were so huge.
Yeah.
So we'll see if there's a solution to that, or if maybe we can get a series of screenshots. So it's almost like you're doing a walkthrough with a flip book.
They could probably do a web link, simple web link, if it's on their server, right? So
I assume so.
yeah.
Okay.
Any questions about timeline? Happy to hear it. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Jonathan.
No problem.
Thanks, Sheldon.
Moving on to community lecture series. Carol, looks like you're up next. The 21st at 7 p.m. Wayne Theater. So I fully intend to be there. So looking forward to that. It looks like we have all but one day. I think March might still need, if I remember right, but I reserve the right to edit that. We either have them all wrapped up or we're looking for one more speaker for March. So we'll continue that program. Also, just looking over the horizon, we'll be starting up again with the, if all goes well, with the hours at the trailer, and tie that in with the farmers market. We, of course, have in late April the River Fest. As far as maintenance of the trailer goes, we didn't make a lot of headway with the firm out of Baltimore that VMFA had worked with in the past. They basically said that, we'll have a phone call or something along those lines here at the beginning of the year. So we hope to gather some details on that, which would include having a full scope of work developed by the team, likely moving the trailer to wherever it has to go for work. Related to maintenance, we saw this happening. There's a bit of a tear in the wrap near the access door. It just didn't hold up. So Ryan has reached out, and Tom had noticed this as well, but Ryan had reached out to the vendor who installed it. So likely what's going to happen, and Ryan, please jump in if you see it differently, but I think the way it's going to work is when the fairer weather comes around, they'll come in and cut part of it off and make an addition to it. Sound about right?
Yes, yeah. So I know there's a window of temperature window for them to do the work, and yeah, probably, well, depend on the weather, but probably when it gets like over 50, they can do that work.
Okay.
Yep.
And then lastly, as far as some kind of semi-permanent electrical hookup, I just did strike up a conversation by email with Dwayne Jones. So I hope to have more info on that as this begins to take shape. So just getting the new year kicked off here. But yeah, that's where we stand with our interface with the community. So anybody want to add anything else to that? Okay. Let's see here. And this part here is part 5 on our agenda. This goes back to last month's meeting. I'm going to have Jonathan kind of walk through the proposed roadmap. We do have, we've tossed around amongst us some proposed verbiage to share for the letter writing campaign. So obviously WAC members are going to be needed. Greg Hitchen with his hat of Economic Development Director. If we can get, and we'll work to get as well, things like superintendents, Chamber of Commerce. I know I had a few others in mind. We're also hoping the full Board of Trustees, since that is a group that has constituents all over the Commonwealth, that they'll submit letters. So, Jonathan, you kind of want to walk through what all this is going to look like?
Sure. The proposed letter is going to help hopefully get us over the hump into the capital construction pool. So this kind of, as it's happened in the past, I know we have I guess working back kind of from the governor's election is going to be in November. So I would assume that we're going to have an even more accelerated budget development cycle this year. Going forward into February, March, April is normally when we start hearing from the budget analyst. And then they say, hey, what's going on? You got any ideas about what you're going to request this year? Let's try to start figuring out so there's no surprises, which is important. And nobody wants to be surprised. So going into February, March, April. So early to mid-April, we typically get an email or a note from the Secretary of Education saying, hey guys, again, we don't want to be surprised. Be thinking about what you're going to be submitting this coming budget cycle. So that's when we really, so into April, early May is when we need these letters to kind of be in hand. Now I don't know, everything's really loose as far as what the official schedule would be for when the Secretary is going to send out that information. But we'd like to, on February 1st at the board meeting, at least hand everybody an envelope and get everybody on board with, as the information comes to light, as the process progresses, have those letters available and ready to go to be sent to the Secretary of Education's office. I think it's important that we ask all the board members to send the letter themselves from their own location. I think it's going to be an outpouring from across the state that's going to really move the needle. And I think it's good to see those return addresses coming from all over. There's different delegates, different constituencies. And I think just them seeing, a bunch of letters coming from the Virginia Museum of Natural History, it just looks like a bunch of letters coming from the Virginia Museum of Natural History. So hopefully February 1st, you guys should have a draft letter in your inbox from Jennifer. I appreciate her sending that out. Any language changes, you're welcome to change any language for your individual letter. You want to cite your delegate or your constituency around you, be fine. But it's pretty much just a standard letter to get us over into that capital pool.
And Mark, for someone like you, I know you're going to miss the board meeting. I'll have Jennifer send off a package for you that's got envelopes and letterhead and stuff like that. So we'll get that over to you. And we'll also make sure at the board meeting, we'll have all of that available. Everyone will have an electronic copy of the verbiage as well as a hard copy that they can take with them. So, and we of course have 2 new board members. I'm going to be working with them. Neither one am I going, it doesn't sound like they're going to be able to make it to any kind of orientation before the February meeting. So they're going to jump in with both feet. February 1st, I'm going to try to have a Zoom orientation with them in advance just to say hello and then kind of give them the heads up on this and the fact that homework is coming down the line here sooner rather than later.
Happy to participate in that when it happens, Joe, if you want a little extra. It doesn't have to be,
Yeah.
I've sent them both notes anyway.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Turns out David used to work in the same building as my brother.
Of course he did. Isn't that amazing?
Small world.
Yeah. So
Who are the
the
new
one,
board members, Joe?
pardon me?
I said, who are the new board members?
The one, Kathy, I don't remember her last name. She
Hinkler?
is, pardon me?
Hinker.
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something along those lines. She's a retired Danville school teacher. She's now relocated to Williamsburg, but is excited about the posting. And the second one is David
Firth?
Hurst. Yes,
Firth.
so
Firth.
Firth, thank you. So he is retired or soon to be retired curator at the Smithsonian, which
Yeah.
actually allows it, you know, so that, of course, you might have imagined that is Art Evans' suggestion, and it kind of creates some continuity because we've had Art for 9 years now. He rolls off in a year and change. So, but related to that, we also had the late Ollie Flint on for 2 10-year stretches. So he's the longest serving person. He's he was a curator at the Smithsonian for many years, and prior to that, we also had Wayne Mathis, who was a former curator at the Smithsonian. So this kind of gets us back into that tradition.
Get that connection there too.
Yeah, it's always been helpful.
Yep.
I remember when Ollie was board member; he was always able to help us connect more strongly with the Smithsonian. I understand that Wayne Mathis did as well, and we hope David can follow that tradition. So,
Another bug guy too, huh?
yeah, can't get rid of us.
So is he a curator at the Natural History Museum?
Yes.
Where's that? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if he was in the main building. They have beyond the public spaces, they have buildings all over Washington, D.C., including a brand new one that they built that I toured last year. And so who knows where he actually exists, right? No one really knows.
Which basement?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I think that's what we have leading up to open discussion. I don't know if there's anything that anyone wants to bring up. I see Stephanie and Greg have joined us. Greg or Stephanie, do you have anything you want to discuss or anything you have questions about? I think you missed part of the meeting.
We probably missed all of the meetings. We're going to both have a conflict Mondays at 8 or so months out of it. So we'll try to get some attendance at these meetings when we do have a conflict. So I don't think we have anything to add. Maybe just, and I can circle back with you, Joe, but briefly read the draft letter that you had in the packet. What's the general plan on that, timing wise on that?
Jonathan, you want to do a quick recap on that?
Sure. So going out to board members February 1st, we'll hopefully get the draft approved before the board trustees meeting, and then with the governor's election November, I think it's going to be an accelerated request process. I think so. April, end of April, early May is probably when we'll be sending those out, which is just catches us in between a board meeting, and it may fall after that. But I just want to be prepared in case the secretary sends that email out early.
Got it. Okay,
Yep.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah, that's kind of the big one, Greg. I've been corresponding with Parks and Rec regarding the trailer and Dwayne Jones and some electrical hookup and so forth. And we're also trying to get a scope of work from a company for updates on the mechanicals related to the trailer and so forth. And I don't think you really missed a whole lot. The homework's going to be this letter writing campaign, which will involve WAC, Board of Trustees, Chamber of Commerce, the city, your office, anybody else, superintendents, anybody else we think we can get. So last bit that I have isn't really WAC specific, but since you're all ambassadors of the museum, our bats exhibit is closing and we're opening up in February our new dinosaur exhibit. And This will be John Ryan. I think we've arranged it so we're going to have a press release with the governor's office regarding free admission for state employees.
Yeah, so the working with DHRM and the governor's office, we're going to do a state promotion where every state employee receives free admission. But then if they bring any family members, they pay regular price. So there's, I think, currently about 115,000 state employees across the state. Obviously, we're going to get a higher concentration, as we get closer. But regardless, every state employee will get that email. So it's a nice promotion. We'll see we'll track the results, obviously, but we're excited about that.
Yeah,
Cool.
indirectly
Really cool.
related. Yeah, yeah. Indirectly related to this committee, just from the standpoint, again, is used as ambassadors, but also it's something that will bring a little attention to us around the same time that we're going to be putting these letters out. So, right. Does anybody have anything else they want to bring up, either from the staff perspective or the board perspective?
Just one last question regarding the evolving building design.
Yes.
Is there potential for green roof like being diminished at this point, or is there still an option for that?
No, the roof is to be reinforced. We won't have, unless we raise money specific for the green roof, there's not going to be construction money for a green roof. We really don't think DEB will go for that anyway. So we'd have to use private funds. What they will do is they'll reinforce the roof so we can install a green roof over it. So in other words, it'll be green roof ready. So that is either something we phase in or we raise funds for the initial opening. So that's something we'll need to determine. But that is an expensive proposition.
So the design includes the reinforced roof so that we could have a separate campaign to raise funds privately for a green roof.
Exactly. So what you end up doing is putting the skeleton over the roof. That becomes that kind of combination space to put your planters in, coupled with the irrigation system and so forth.
Yeah, okay. Just want the option. I always assumed that it would be a private funded thing, but
Right.
I think there's a great opportunity. That's a great fundraising opportunity, that whole concept.
It is, and just something to think about as well is, and we haven't gotten to this discussion within the detailed design yet, but my understanding is that every Virginia building that's built new has to be at least the equivalent of a LEED silver design. I don't know if Jonathan has any specific updates on that. He's given that the thumbs up. As such, we don't yet know all of the components that will be associated with the museum that will make that qualify. And Stephanie put in the chat a few dates for us, just for the minutes here. Riverfest is actually first weekend in May, so it's May 3rd. And then the Virginia Street Arts Festival is May 17th. So May will be a pretty good month for public outreach for the museum within the community. So thank you for doing that, Jennifer.
Stephanie, what's the opening date for the farmers market?
I was just trying to find that and I can't remember. I think they're starting later because of Riverfest. It might be the weekend after that. So the second weekend in May.
Okay.
And I apologize, I'm having trouble with my camera on my laptop. I'm working from home. But I also did want to mention we are hosting a tourism trade show February the 10th at the Best Western in Waynesboro from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And if the museum would like to come set up as a vendor, it would give you the opportunity to get in front of the audience of frontline workers. We're inviting hotel staff, restaurant staff, gas station employees, those kind of people, as well as just Waynesboro citizens who want to be tourism ambassadors. So if the museum is available to come set up, I can send you more information. Again, that's February the 10th from 10 to 3 at the Best Western in Waynesboro.
Thank you, Stephanie. If you could send that my way, I'll share with the team. Likely you can count on us being there. I will be returning from conference about 2 days prior. So, but 10 to 3 is not a huge commitment. So I'm sure it's something we can facilitate.
Perfect.
All right. Any other info anybody want to share? Or anything else pertinent to the committee? All right, Mark, I don't like to close meetings, so I'm not a board member. So since you're board, effectively get this meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, Mark, take a vote so we can get out of here.
Call for the vote.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Thank
Aye
you.
and bye.
Aye.
Thank you
Have
for
a good
going
day.
through all the formalities and everything, but appreciate everyone's
That's it,
input
that's-
and we hope to see everyone soon.
All right.
Great. Thank you.